Episode 69 of the Back of the Class podcast. I'm Glenn.
I'm Ben.
And before we start off this week's episode, I'd like to say huge thank you to our sponsors, Coco's Cakes, VIR Electrical, The Bar Griffin Inn, Pizza Pizza and Grill, Members First Credit Union, and Orem. And this week we're joined by
Marty Guilfoyle.
And the Cup Price Jewelers actually as well.
Oh yeah, sorry. You go do that again because I can't wait to mill these.
Yeah, that's it. That's everyone. Yeah. How are you?
Really good, lads. Thanks a mil for having me. Episode 69.
Yeah.
A year and a half going at it.
Yeah.
Fair play. And I have to apologise. You're two of the most patient sound lads I've ever interacted with. I've been a nightmare to get in. I know.
We're glad.
We had a little mix up there last week.
Yeah.
And I went back and I was panicking. I was like, no, I thought it was this week. And then there's a couple of times where bits popped up. So I really appreciate the patience and getting me in.
For the people who may not know who we are or what you do, introduce yourself and what do you hope they'll learn off this episode?
So I'm a radio DJ and a radio presenter and a DJ. And by the end of this chat, I'd love people to know that it's okay to not be okay, especially if you're doing what you love. Yeah, we'll go with that. So yeah.
How are you? Are you busy at the minute?
Busy at the minute. It's March. You know, January tends to be quiet when you're a DJ. Summer's coming up. People are getting ready to go out. Festivals. People are going on holidays. Really looking forward to summer this year. I feel like winter's dragged, hasn't it? I feel like it still feels like winter. We had, did we have like some mad thing? It was like 10 weeks of rain every single day. I think we're ready for a bit of summer now in this country. Like, yeah.
You know, the first thing that popped into my head with the DJ side of things, like, see if someone's opening up for you or you're opening up for someone, or say there's a couple of DJs on the same gig within a few hours or something. How would you all know not to play the same songs, or how would you know who played what song?
I've never been asked that question before. I love it. Whenever I've opened up in big venues for the likes of in the Olympia or, you know, places maybe down in Killarney in the INEC, you don't get a set list, but you just know not to play any of their songs. I mean, you can't go out and play some of the artist songs that are on after you, but you also get a list of maybe remixes that they might do of certain songs, so you kind of get asked not to play these as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think people forget sometimes that when you're the opening DJ, you're there to kind of warm it up, just get people kind of moving, you know, and then they've bought a ticket to see the main act. They haven't bought a ticket to see you, and I feel like sometimes opening up for the bigger act is nearly a talent in itself. You got to put the ego aside, and you got to go, right, let's get these moving, so when the person comes on after me, they're ready to go with the big hits that people have paid the money to come see, you know?
And what like BPM would you be aiming for, like when you're opening up? Like, would you start off fast or slow?
No, I if you're opening up, you'd start at 120-ish. I would never go above 130. There was one time where I actually did go up to 140, but I didn't consider it an opening set. I considered it a bit of a lineup. So I felt that I was on for an hour, and then the person on after me was on for an hour. Like when you're abroad and stuff and you're playing in like Mallorca and stuff, there could be a DJ on after you, but you're not really opening for them. It's kind of like a lineup. Does that make sense? You're kind of being asked to do what you would do. But if you're booked for like a ticketed event, that's solely this person's gig and they've asked you to warm up for them, then it's different. You know, I'd probably never push it past 128 if I was asked to open up for somebody, as much as I would love to.
Do you still get nervous for gigs?
Oh yeah. Oh my God, yes.
How do you deal with the nerves?
I don't. If I told you I dealt with them, I'm lying. Especially when it comes to festival gigs, you know, like I've been very lucky to play Electric Picnic and Longitude for I don't know how many years. And the first 10 minutes of my set, I'm shaky. I'm so shaky. And then I start to get into it, you know. Festivals are a funny one because you're competing with so many other people at the same time. Like last year, I was up against Calvin Harris, but thankfully Calvin Harris finished his set an hour before I was due to finish mine, so people came to see me when Calvin Harris finished. So at the start of my set, there was about 10 people there, and that's when the nerves really hit me, because I was like, I'm at Electric Picnic, there's 10 people here, but one thing I've always been told is that you still give those 10 people what you would give 1,000, 10,000 people. So and they knew that everyone was at Calvin Harris and they were still there. and they hung around for the whole 2-hour set. So they were there for when there was just 10 people, and they were there for when there was a couple of thousand. So yeah,
That's like, and out of them 10 people, you don't know who is in that crowd. Like me and Glenn even speak of that. When it comes to views and likes and shares, people get carried away, I think. But in reality, like, you could get 200 views, and one of them people could be somebody who could change your life. Like
exactly.
even
Yeah.
me and Glenn was talking to Job DeYoung, you know, the DJ.
Yeah.
We were talking to him yesterday or the day before, and
Monday,
he recognised us straight away. He said we popped up on his For You page a few times.
It's mad, isn't it?
And me and Glenn were only thinking, oh, we're not doing that many views now, blah blah blah. But one of them was Job DeYoung, like, do you know what I mean?
There you go.
Just that. And even, did you hear of J. Cole's new album?
Yeah.
Did you hear about there was a man who done these videos on YouTube just speaking to himself about different views he had on things and different things that were going on in the world, and one of them was the fall off celebrities, and he was basically saying, how can you fall off? He was saying it's an achievement in itself to even get to where there is, like,
Yeah.
and then people are just thinking of the fall off, but in reality they're not looking at the journey to where you actually got to. Like, you can't really fall off. You've just made it, and then someone else makes it, and he done a whole speech on that. And
I love that.
I only got 200 views on YouTube or something, but one of them was somebody who works for Dreamville, and J. Cole's new album was called The Fall Off. He liked it, he shared it to J. Cole.
No
J. Cole
way.
picked him, and it changed his life. Like.
I love that you guys are saying this right now, because you guys are two young lads pursuing a dream, which I love. To a lot of people, you're actually living the dream. You're episode 69 in our podcast series. Like, some people are dying to just start one, you know what I mean? And like you said, I feel a lot of people like are obsessed with views and likes these days. That was me 10 years ago. I was obsessed with, that only got 100 views. Like, obviously people didn't like it. And I feel like that we're so hooked on pleasing an algorithm, and nobody actually knows what that means. Like, we know an algorithm is like videos are popping up and stuff, but we don't actually know like what it actually is. We all kind of like, you know, conform to this algorithm. But what you just said, I try to tell people that, because I have nearly 500,000 followers on TikTok, and what I've noticed over the years is that my views just fluctuate like crazy. And I went through a phase of like beating myself up about it. I was like, when I had like 200,000-300,000 people, I was like, why am I only getting this many views if I have this many followers? And I just got to a point, maybe it was getting old, I don't know, where I'm just like, it doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter. If you're putting stuff out there and you're happy people will see it, then what's the problem? You know what I mean? Like you said, one view is all it takes from whoever you're trying to like get in front of. And that's one person, one little tick on that little number, and then you could get the job that you want.
I say to Glenn all the time, control the controllables. So do what you can control. So what you can control is you can post your content and make sure it's good content, and you can make sure it's the best quality, and make sure there's nothing that's gonna get you banned.
That's
after that,
very smart.
After that, there's nothing else you can do. So once you're happy, you've ticked all them boxes and you've controlled what you can control. Leave everything else.
You're
to
dead
TikToks,
right. You are so right. And it's funny, the video that I put out that got the most amount of views that I've ever gotten on any video was the worst quality video I've ever recorded, and it just popped. And if I was to put that video out again now, probably wouldn't even get 100 views. And I could throw up a video of me just talking to the camera and it gets thousands of views. But I could put together as well produced, hey, this is my new track, please listen to it, and it just gets a couple of hundred. And you but that's the one you want people to see. So you hope to bring people to your channel maybe with something else, but they scroll and they find, oh, there's a new track, we'll listen to that. But I really like that, because like a lot of people say, oh, you know, how do I get followers online and how do I get views? And I'm like, you're actually asking the wrong person, because I was just making videos and just throwing them up, hoping for the best, you know, the kind of way. And if you get so fixated on views and likes, you can end up in a really bad place, you know. You start questioning everything that you're doing, for 100%. Sure.
Someone here, Jack Harlow, was talking about, he's a new album out at the minute. And he was on a live there the other day with Sloan, who's an artist. And they were both talking about like just loving their art. And Jack was saying like his new album isn't really popping off the way he thought it would have. And it's just Sloan was saying to him that like maybe that's because you're not a new relevancy, like everybody knows you're Jack Harlow, so now they're like, we've seen him, we've heard him, and when he first blew up, no one had heard of him, if you know what I mean. So that's what he was saying, that he just does it for the love of the actual art now and not focusing on the views
and to hear someone as big and as successful as him say it's really cool. Because the attention span of people these days, myself included, it's next to zero. You know, people are so used to getting instant dopamine hits from just scrolling through their feed. If you can't get someone to watch your video for more than 3 seconds, they're gone on to the next one. Someone like Jack Harlow is probably realizing that with his album. You know, how many people are actually going to albums now and listening to them from start to finish? It used to be a huge thing when I was your age, because you'd go out and you'd queue up and you'd buy a CD, and you've just spent like hours in a queue to get the CD, so there's no way you're not putting that in and not playing it from start to finish, you know. But I'm just as bad as everyone else. If I get sent an album, you know, I'm nearly fast forwarding to the drop. On dance music, when I'm sent them for consideration for the show, I can see the waveform in front of me, so I'll listen to a couple of seconds at the start, I'll fast forward to the drop, give that a couple of seconds, and then I'll go to the breakdown and maybe check that out. So I've scanned a 3-minute track in like 10 seconds, you know, and you make a decision on that, which is mad when you think about it. It's just the way we are at the moment. I just find that everyone out there, the attention spans are so low, and because everything's so fast paced, we have so much choice, you know, which is nearly a bad thing in a way.
Yeah, I think sometimes less is a little bit more.
Yeah, this is why I hate Netflix. I love watching it. I love like my other half pick something.
Yeah.
But if I have to go onto Netflix and pick something to watch, I struggle. There's so much. I'm like, what am I going to watch here? I have absolutely no idea. That's why I love watching live TV. I love watching like news channels. I'm just like, you guys just tell me what you want to tell me, and I just leave it on in the background. Or that's why I love the radio. And I know it sounds mad coming from a radio presenter, but I'm like, I'll let news talk tell me what I want to listen to. Because if I go even to pick a podcast, it's got these categories: entertainment, sport, current affairs, business. I'm like, it takes me half an hour just to pick something, you know, but by then my walk or my run is over. So I'm like, I don't know what you want to listen to, you know.
And even I think if you're halfway through the podcast and you don't like it, then you know you have more choices, so you won't follow through it.
Oh, great
and
point.
Could be a part in it, like say on the 16th minute, just past the hour that you might want to listen to, but you didn't listen. Do you know what I mean?
Such a good point. For example, you guys could have your fans and they love your stuff, and they've already heard 5 minutes of me, and they're like, don't like this guy, and they stop listening to it and they go find something else. But you guys could say something later on now in this podcast that really hits home and really means something. But you're so right, because there's so much choice. They're like, oh, I don't really like this guest or what he's saying, so I'm going to move on to the next one. Yeah.
Tell us about when you first started pursuing music and radio.
Radio came first, so I was studying for my Leaving Cert, and I was a really good student because I was competitive, and I just wanted to kind of get a good Leaving Cert, just to kind of say I had a good Leaving Cert. Now, to be fair, my mum, she's a very smart woman, and she hammered it home to me, you know, do well in your exams and all that. But I was studying one night listening to 98 FM, and back then there was no Spotify, no nothing. I had songs that I liked, so I put the radio on every night hoping that they'd come on the playlist. So I was studying away, and I can't remember who was on 98 FM, but I remember them chatting away, playing songs that I liked, and they were having a really good time. And I was like, that sounds like a lot of fun. So I rang up my local radio station. Well, they weren't local, but they're the closest radio station to me, called Liffey Sound FM. They're a community radio station. And I was just like, hey, and this guy called Fran Walsh answered the phone, and he was like, Liffey Sound FM, how can I help you? And I just said, I want to be on the radio. And he just burst out laughing. He was just like, you can't just be on the radio. And I was like, oh, but I really want to. And he goes, I kind of like your style here, kid. Can you come down to me now? And I was like, yeah. So I went down to him anyway, and he put me on air within like 5 minutes, just as a co-host for a couple of minutes, and I loved it. So I stuck with them for about a year before I got the courage to send Spin a demo, and Spin got back to me telling me it was really bad, but they heard potential. And then I guess it was just off I go from there.
That's something we always say. Like, it's not always the most hardworking or talented people who get what they want.
No, it's really
the people who have the audacity to ask.
It's really not. I should be offended by that, man, but I'm not at all, because you're so right. Yeah. It's like but I wouldn't actually be like that in other aspects of life. Like I'd be kind of like afraid of confrontation or afraid of, you know, annoying somebody. I really, really would. But for some reason that night I was just so happy just to ring this radio station and say I want to be on with you guys. But then with the DJing, I went away down on my Leaving Cert holiday. It was like 3 a.m. in a nightclub in the Canaries, and I looked up at this DJ who was having so much fun. He was playing a remix of Lady Gaga's Poker Face. And I was like, geez, that looks fun as well. So I went up to him and he was like, are you Irish? I was like, yeah. He goes, I need an Irish barman. And I was like, okay. He goes, well, you be my Irish barman and you can hang on here and we'll give you a job and you can learn how to DJ. So I rang my parents and I was like, I'm not coming home. And they were like, what? You can imagine you bringing your parents.
Yeah.
You're going away on a friend's holiday at that age as a teenager. And to be fair, they let me do it. They came over to make sure I was okay. I went back in time to start college, but I learned to DJ over there with a guy called DJ Coco Loco. And again, it was just because I just went up and just asked.
Yeah.
Like, what was the worst he was going to say? Like, no, you know, and thankfully he didn't. And the two of them then kind of worked coincide, like side by side, because I'd started both of them roughly the same time then, yeah.
Some I believe in is that like curiosity and passion override talent.
Yeah.
Like, if you have the passion, I think you'll always go forward.
I think so, yeah. I struggle to believe in talent, you know. I like, if you take some of the biggest, the best athletes in the world, like, you know, say, let's go with Cristiano Ronaldo for argument's sake when it comes to football, you know. And look at him and LeBron James, two men in their 40s, still at the top of their game. But they're playing a sport that was invented by a person. Now, what they were able to figure out along the line is that they were given the tools to be really good at that sport. But they weren't born good at football.
Yeah, I don't believe in it really at all.
It's kind of hard to believe that you are, but I do think you're born with certain tools, and if you can figure out, you know,
how to
use them, and if that aligns with your passion, well, then you've just struck gold, really, haven't you? Like, you know, like LeBron James is in his 40s and he's bouncing around a basketball court like he's 20, 21, which to me is.
So I think he's the all-time top scorer now at the minute.
Exactly. I'm in my 30s and I've got back pains. I've got bad knees. I'm looking at a man like 10 years older than me doing things that I definitely won't be doing in 10 years. Not a hope.
I think as well though, that's because he focuses so much on like recovery and looking after his body.
He prioritizes
his
it.
obsession
You know?
is on that. So
his obsession is on it.
I think that's how he actually, like if he wasn't leading that idol, I'd say he would have back pain as well, you know?
Which is what I've been doing, yeah.
So,
do you remember your first DJing gig?
Oh yeah, it was terrible. I remember my first radio show on Spin, and I remember my first DJ gig, and they were so bad, lads. Like really, really bad. When I did my first show on Spin, there was a guy who was looking after tech. He's still in the company now. His name is Paul Bonas. He had to come running into the studio to save me. Like, nearly had the station set on fire.
What happened?
No, not actually on fire. But I was just hitting buttons I didn't know they meant. Like half the songs were playing. It was just like, I just was like, oh, this just isn't for me. There's no way I can't figure this out. Gig wise, I remember sweating so much. I used to have a residency in a club in Leeson Street at the time called Envy, and they were 7-hour sets, getting paid next to no money. I was just happy to be there, you know. But sometimes then when it got busy, I was like, this is hard, you know, because people like love to come and give out to the DJ when they're having a bad night or when they're not getting what they want. And when you're like 18, 19, 20 and you're starting out, it's really hard to deal with someone like that and not take it personally, you know. I honestly can't say, I can't look back at my first gig, couple of gigs and first couple of radio shows and say they went well, because they really didn't.
And how do you think you overcame that?
Yeah, why do you think you stayed there?
Because it was fun and I really liked it, and I was working loads of part-time jobs at the time, and they were helping me pay my bills and that. So in my head I was like, well, I'm doing okay work-wise. Like I was delivering Chinese, I was delivering pizza, I was working in a cafe as well, and I was like, well, I'm helping pay my bills with these, so I might as well, you know, keep this up, kind of thing. And back then, you know, we didn't have TikTok. I know I'm speaking as if I'm about 50 years of age, but TikTok wasn't a thing back then, and Instagram back then was you just shared pictures. Like that's all it was. So when Instagram introduced videos, everyone was like, what the hell is this? Like, this is mad.
Yeah.
And now if you don't post videos, it's like your page will kind of fall off a cliff. So there was no videos from people doing really well to podcasts weren't a thing. So what you guys are doing, getting people on to like inspire and motivate people, and what you guys do as well, there was no one to listen to hear that, and there was also no one to hear fail, you know. So it was just something that you said, look, I'm enjoying this, I put the work in, now I might as well not give up and just keep going. And eventually then I landed my first full-time radio show, and confidence kind of came with that then. So
that's something I believe in, is confidence comes in like the amount of work that you do.
Yeah,
the more
for
input
sure.
you do.
That's all. I wouldn't say anybody's bad at it, and they're just unfamiliar with it.
Yeah.
They don't have you're familiar with something, and you're not really bad then if you're familiar with something. It's just when you're unfamiliar and you don't really know what you're doing, then you start thinking that you're bad.
Yeah, I like that too, because even only recently, I work with a couple of radio stations across the company, and I was thrown into a show there about a month and a half ago just to cover for the week. And I've been on air now for 16, 17 years, and I had a howler. It was so bad the first day, because I was just put, it wasn't the studio I was used to, it wasn't the buttons I was used to, and you'd swear it was my first time ever. But like you said, I just wasn't familiar with it after a couple of days, and I'm fine with it now because I'm used to being in that studio after a couple of weeks. But that's a really good point. I wasn't familiar with it, so you could even hear it in my voice. I was nervous, like my throat was quivering and stuff. There was stuff coming off, firing at everywhere, like mad sounds here and there. What's going on here? But you're right, I just wasn't familiar in that studio and wasn't used to it. But I am now, so yeah.
Do you think they both work hand in hand, the DJing and the radio presenting?
Yeah and no. Yeah, that's a really good question. Because like when it comes to DJing, I had my dance mixes on Fridays and Saturday nights. And then I would do other shows that'd be like kind of similar to what you guys are doing, kind of hosting kind of content and stuff. So it depends on the show I'm doing. When it's the dance mix shows, yeah, absolutely. I find they work hand in hand. But then when it comes to like, maybe breakfast radio or evening radio or even just a music show that's kind of commercial top 20 stuff, you really kind of have to be a presenter there. Like no beat matching, no knowledge of songs and how they're produced is going to help you out there, because the people that are listening to you don't understand any of that. If they hear a Dua Lipa song, or if they hear, I don't know, a Lady Gaga song, they kind of just want to know what's happening in the world around that. They don't care that they used an M1 organ or any of that, the kind of way. It's all they care about is like them getting out of their own head and listening to a bit of the radio to take them out of what's happening in their life. And that has got nothing to do with being in a nightclub or being at a festival. That's just about being yourself, I think.
And see, when you're DJing or if you're doing radio presenting, do you switch between modes? Like, do you know how to be in like DJ mode and then radio presenting mode, or do you think you're just always the Marty?
That's such a good question. I try to just be me. No matter what, because I will openly admit this. I'm the world's most uncool DJ. I'm so uncool. Like when people think of the DJ lifestyle and the gigs that I'm doing at the moment, and when I'm in Mallorca and I go abroad and stuff, or even when I'm traveling around Ireland, like for example, most of my Mallorca sets in the summer could start at 3 a.m. Like I'm asleep till 1, and at 10 o'clock I've gone around to a deli and got myself like a ham and cheese roll, and I'm watching SpongeBob in Spanish, and then I go to the club for like 2. And then 9 times out of 10, when they're all hanging back having drinks afterwards, I go back to bed, because I'm like, right, let's get up. We're on a beautiful island. Let's go for a walk, enjoy the sunshine.
I think that's the best way to be. Like, I think on longevity, like, you have to be that way, I think.
Yeah. I think for longevity, absolutely 100%. But it wouldn't be what people think. When people think of DJ, they think of like cool, all the drinks and like all the late nights and the nightclubs and the dance music and stuff. And like a lot of my close friends, like people who are close to me, will see that like, the club is full at 4 a.m. wherever I could be, and then 2 hours prior to that, I'm literally like milling a bag of popcorn, watching, I don't know, whatever shows on the television in the hotel, like,
That's deadly.
I love that you think that's deadly.
That is deadly.
Because you just told me before you came in here that you've started DJing.
Yeah.
And someone your age, I would always wonder, would they want to get into DJing because of the lifestyle that they perceive is around it? And the fact that you just said that that's deadly, I think it's actually really cool, because you're obviously looking into it as something that you'd enjoy doing, and it's a bit of fun rather than what you think comes with it.
Yeah, no, I think if I was focusing on what I thought come with it, I'd just go to parties instead of having to do all the work.
Instead of having to do the work, yeah. Because you still have to work at the end of the day,
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And people do look at the DJing lifestyle and think, yeah, it's great, they're flying here, there and everywhere, but when we were talking to a couple of DJs and from the people we meet, they're not getting any sleep. They're on a plane probably 5 days a week.
Yeah.
They're late, like it's late nights, high energy. You have to bring the energy even though you're getting probably 4 hours sleep.
Yeah.
So if you're drinking on top of that,
then you've got the media side of it as well. You have wanting to do interviews or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
That's another side of it.
There's a lot to it for sure. Like last week, I put up 3,500 kilometers in the car just from gigs. And yeah, I lacked a bit of sleep last week because of the radio shows as well. But I loved it. It was so much fun. But if I was staying in hotels and be immersing myself in it, first of all, like I'm in my 30s now, so it's a little bit different. I'm traveling around doing rag weeks around the country. They're all 18 to 21. Like I'm not going to be hanging around afterwards. but some people do, and some people do get immersed in it. Like I wouldn't be able to get up the next day then and go in and do a radio show and go back on the road again to do a gig that night. Like your body will just, like it'll just give up. And if you really want to do it for a long time, you have to, like any job, like any other job in the world. Like if you're an accountant, like you're not going in at 9 o'clock in the morning after being out till 4 the night before.
Exactly.
Maybe if it was a Christmas party or something, you might do it once every while. But like this to me should be treated no different. It's still a job, and if you're very lucky to be able to enjoy your work, and yet you're surrounded by all these things, like it doesn't mean you should, it's.
Sorry,
you go ahead. Go ahead.
That's my home screen. Losing sleep for your goals is better than dreaming about them.
Losing sleep for your goals is better than dreaming about them. Oh yeah, that's on your home screen.
That's my home
screen. Oh, that's
screen,
cool.
yeah.
I've never heard that one before. I've noticed that the older that I get, if I don't get my sleep, things go wrong, things go bad.
Yeah. How do you balance the two? Because you think of like a radio as sort of an early morning sort of.
Yeah.
And then the DJing is, and then they clash as well. As you said, you do Friday, Saturday night, and on the radio. I know you pre-record them, but still.
Friday and Saturday will be pre-recorded because it's across a couple of stations. But like recently, I was doing breakfast radio, so the show was 7 to 10. But there was nights where I might have been in Tipperary or Cork or something the night before. So I would be literally going straight from the gig to the radio show, and that to me will be an all-nighter. And people are like, "Oh my God, that's crazy! You're mad!" And I'm like. If you break an arm at 4 o'clock in the morning and you go straight into A&E, there's people there to look after you. And they've probably been working since 9 p.m. and they're not getting off until 9 a.m. the next morning. Just because it's DJing and it's public and it's out there, it just seems a little bit more crazy. Like my mom, bless her, she'll sometimes see where my gigs are and I get a message off her and it's like, "Are you okay? Drive safe." Because she knows that I'm about to like maybe drive to Cork and then do some other mad journey afterwards, and she'll always check in to make sure I'm all right. But there's so many jobs that involve overnights, 5 days a week, and I guarantee
truckers like
when I'm out on the road at mad o'clock, the motorway is just truckers, and then even the parking spaces that you can pull off in and chill out for a little bit, they're all just going for naps in their little bunkers on the top of them, the kind of way. It's not unheard of to do a night shift. Like when I first started out in radio and I was only part-time, I was working as a night porter in a hotel. So like my job was just to like make the room service and bring it to them and clean conference rooms and stuff. But that was like 11 p.m. to 9 a.m. and it was overnight. So in my head I was like, well, if I was able to do that then I can go do a gig and then go to do a radio show. Obviously I wouldn't be advising it, but like every once in a while I think it's okay,
You're sort of skimming over it, but I think there's a lot of hard work and persistence in the early days where you do all the different jobs and still doing the DJing and pursuing the radio presenting and everything.
Yeah, I guess there was. I come from a very hard working family. My dad was a fireman, so that came with night shifts and stuff. And then my mom, she's a barrister now, but she was a hairdresser up until her 30s, and she decided that she would really like to go back and do law. She had 3 kids, so she was looking after us. My dad could have been working nights, working 12-hour shifts during the day, putting out fires, driving the ambulance, and she was doing people's hair, saving up all the money she had so she'd go back to college. So when you kind of see the people who brought you into the world kind of acting like that, it kind of makes you, like they put me
it's like the standard.
That's the standard, that's where the bar is, and they put me into a job when I was 13. I used to skateboard around where I'm from. My mom came running in the road when I was like 13, holding my skateboard, my baggy jeans, and she was like, "Great news." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "You got a job." And I was like, "That's the worst news ever." Like, how is that good news, ma'am? And I was just working in a cafe for, at the time, must have been €4 an hour, chopping onions and peppers and washing dishes and stuff, 1 day a week for like 8 hours in Rathmines. And I think that just kind of set me up to kind of pay my way as I go, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Back then, I was like, I'm 13, 14, why am I working in a cafe at the weekends? But I have them to thank for that, for sure,
It'll be more about the values and the lessons that taught you as
Big
well.
time. And there was nothing better than, at that age, to just go to the shop and buy something with the money that you just work for. You couldn't beat it. Like that was a good feeling for sure.
Do you think there's a lot of sacrifice involved in that as well, though?
Yeah, there is. I think, and when it comes to working nights and traveling and stuff, and kind of being your own business and being self-employed, you kind of sacrifice things along the way without even realizing. like my friends will probably tell you I do my best to be the best friend I can be to the people close to me, but sometimes I feel like, you know, I've definitely let them down at points because they be working during the day. Like, oh, everyone my age works during the day. But when you work evenings and nights and you're free during the day, you wouldn't maybe see people as much as you'd like to, you know?
Yeah.
So I'd always pin myself maybe kind of like unfairly as like the worst friend in the group just because I'm probably the most unreliable. If someone wants to meet me, say on a Thursday, but when you're self-employed and you're your own business and a job comes in,
you're going to take the job.
Go take the job. But, you know, I can't wait to get to a point where my brain goes, no.
To the job.
Yeah. And as much as my other half will tell you is this, as much as I say it every year, I'm like, you know, I'm going to say no to a few more this year, you know, and she's like, no, you're not. She's like, you're definitely not going to.
Why do you think that is?
I think when you're a DJ and a radio presenter, you just have this little bit of a fear that someone's waiting to take your job. Someone's waiting to kind of pip you to where you want to be. So if you say no to something, you're not just missing out on the pay and the experience from that night, but whoever goes in to cover you could do such a good job, and then they could go, hang on a minute, we like them. Like, I'm here as a radio presenter sitting on a podcast with two young, really good presenters here, and I'm like, is this a good idea? Am I giving these guys a platform to take my job now? Like, I'm only joking. So it's that kind of a thing, you know. It's like it's the fear. But in any other job, if you work for a company, you get annual leave and you just go on holidays and you just come back and do your job. But there's just that little bit of a fear that if you say no to something, it won't come back. And from what I've learned is that actually never really materializes. But yet, I'd still worry about it a little bit, which is mad.
It's not a bad worry to have.
I reckon that's a bit of that competitiveness you're talking about.
The competitiveness,
I think that's probably why you've got to this level of success that you have right now.
It's funny you say success because I think everyone measures it differently, and as I've gotten older, I've started to measure it differently now as well. You know, like
that's one of our questions actually. What is your definition of success? Because everybody's is different, as you said.
I've realized in the last 6 months that my happiness and my success has been able to like live in the moment and not share it online. That to me has become, I'm like, wow, I'm at a point now where I can go for a walk with my other half. We can go for dinner. I can hang out with my friends. And I don't share it. I don't post about it online. Because at the end of the day, I'm like, this is me now. I don't need to tell everybody where I am, what I'm doing. Years ago, I just felt the need, because of my job, to constantly be on and just tell everybody what I was doing, what I was eating. I was vegetarian for years, lads, and I never shut up about it. Like, I wish back then someone was there to tell me, shut up, we get it. So that's, at the moment, especially this year, that is something now that I'm really defining my success and happiness with. Whereas I came in here to you guys and we were in the lift, and I was like, must be episode 70 now, and you were like, it's 69. I was like, you're doing great. And I bet you're listening and thinking, oh, we could do more though. Yeah.
I think from I don't know if it is a good way to live or not, but from the people that we meet and the people we talk to and the knowledge we've learned in our own little journey, I think the only thing that takes you this far and even further is not getting comfortable, not getting complacent, not sitting on the victories. If you know, sometimes it is nice to sit down and say, that's daily, I'm not doing that. But you also need to keep pushing forward. You also need to, right, what's my goals for this year? Let's smash these, and when them goals come, set new goals, raise the bar.
I do like that too. I think that's a great shout.
I look at 50 Cent that way as well. Like, he's well off. He could have retired 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But he's still out touring the world. He's still producing shows. Yeah. He's still bringing out new albums. He's still doing collabs. He's still staying active on social media.
But what I'll say is that he's in his 50s.
Yeah.
So you take that, and that's all public. So we see 50 Cent, and he's in his 50s, and he's going to work every day, and everyone's like, he's still going out on tour. He's still doing this. He's doing incredible. You know, look at the population of Ireland in their 50s. Like, they're all still showing up for work every day.
Exactly.
You know, they're still going. They're not holding up. You know, they got bills to pay and stuff. It's not being documented on TikTok and Instagram, but they're still doing it. You know, And I tell you what, I know my parents are in their 60s now, but I will say when they were in their 50s, they were very good at taking breaks. I could have learned a thing or two about from them. For sure, yeah. So I do think maybe it's a bit different though, like 50 Cent to be traveling the world in your 50s, going out on stage, performing to thousands of people. It's actually incredible when you think about it. We were only chatting about the likes of David Guetta there and Tiesto and stuff in their mid to late 50s, and you look at them and you never believe it. You're like,
look at
what?
Lionel Richie. He's in his 80s.
Yeah.
And he's still doing the 3 Arena, like it's crazy.
Garth Brooks, Bruce Springsteen, like these you're just thinking, in my 70s and 80s, like the last thing I'm thinking about is a 60-minute set for Longitude. Like,
But I also think it's just because they have such a passion and love for what they do.
Yeah.
That is their fun and that's their idea of life. So why would they stop?
Why would you stop?
Yeah,
Exactly.
like the money doesn't really matter to them. It's just
No.
pure passion that they want to for now, and that just shows you if you do something you love, like
You
will
really do
follow.
keep it up.
Exactly.
I can never see myself retiring from radio. No way. Unless the world decides to retire radio because, I don't know, podcasts take over or something.
Yeah.
That's the only way I'll ever stop it. But I'd like to keep it up and hopefully be on air the day before that I'm put into a casket and brought to be 6 feet under.
How would you deal with accommodating to different types of people in radio and in DJing?
As in accommodating to them.
So maybe for a gig, how would you know, right, this sort of crowd likes this music, or this person doesn't like this song but that person does?
Yeah.
How do you find that balance?
This is kind of where I come back to being the world's most uncool DJ. I've just learned that you can prep a set and want to do something, and you want to be super cool, you want to play a bunch of house music, you want to make a lot of mashups while you're playing and look super cool. But like at the end of the day, if it's a Saturday night and you're in Kerry, Cork, Donegal, any county really, these are people who have been working Monday to Friday and they're just going out, they just want to have fun. And like the last thing they want to hear in their local nightclub is banging techno music. You know what I mean? Like they want to hear a little bit of ABBA. They want to hear a bit of whatever. And yeah, you can give them it in a way. That's what I've tried to do over my career, is give people songs, give them the songs in a way that they might have heard them that way before. That's what I've always focused on. But still give them something that they can sing to, you know? And to me, the classics are just going to be always there. It's funny, no matter how much brand new music is brought out, it's the same songs that'll always get people singing and up. And whatever way you want to play them, that's fair enough. But like at the end of the day, you're never going to please everybody. I've had people come up to me saying those horrible things. If you said these things to people in their 9-to-5 job, they'd probably be put in jail. You know? So you're never going to please everybody. Once that kind of clicked in my head when I was DJing, I just started laughing at these people. I'm like, you're triggered so much by this song that you're coming up and giving me abuse. I'm like, wow, I just hope you're okay. Whatever you're going through, I hope you're okay. But it's all aspects of life. You're never going to please everybody, you know?
No, definitely not. Even we always say with the podcast, like, could get one person on and say one listener could love them, but then you could get somebody on and 20 people could love the next one.
Yeah.
We just do it for one, to inspire people and get people to learn off anyone, because we always say you can learn something off anybody.
Absolutely everybody, you know. Doesn't matter what job they're doing, doesn't matter how many followers they are. You know, one thing that I've really learned over the last couple of years is that followers do not make you important.
Yeah.
They really, really don't. You know, I'd say some of the best stories you can get from people are people that have worked as nurses, butchers, bus drivers. Can you imagine the stories that a bus driver would have? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't have Instagram followers. You know what I
Especially
mean?
at 27 bus drivers. You ever heard that bus?
No.
Goes right from Clare Hall to Tally.
Oh, there you go,
Goes all the
yeah.
way through
Tala's
town.
around the corner from where I'm from, so I can imagine there's a couple of fun stories in that bus for sure, yeah.
What's the hardest obstacle you've had to overcome in your career?
I think social media, 100%. I feel that when my TikTok started growing a lot, when it came to radio, when I started off in radio, people used to like maybe text negative stuff into the station, and that was kind of normal. But it was just a text message, it was a random number, you never really took too much offense to it. But when people were putting it under a video of you, and it might have been off 9 times out of 10, it's a fake profile, so you're kind of like, okay, whatever. But when it got personal, it's hard to not wonder, are you doing the right thing? You know, it's kind of hard to go, geez, this person really doesn't like me. You know, like, what am I doing wrong here? So the rise of social media, absolutely, because I hopped on every bandwagon when it came to social media. One that I didn't really was Instagram. I was late to the party on that. But when it came to Snapchat and TikTok and stuff, like I hopped on that bandwagon and I really went for both of them. And I learned very, very quickly that people are just not going to like you sometimes. But that's okay. But I wish I'd known that that was okay when I'd started and the abuse started kind of coming in. You know what I mean? And I still get it to this day. But I just deal with it a lot better now than I did before. But it's such a big obstacle when you think about it, because if you think of any other job, like if you're working in a cafe and someone goes in and like, oh, I'll have a skinny vanilla latte, please. And they make it for you and they put it down. And you pick up the latte and you look at them and you go, you are terrible at this. You know, and you look them dead in the eye and you're like, I'm never coming back here again. You are terrible at your job. Like, can you imagine that, like 2 p.m. during the day in a cafe? The person, they just be like, whoa, what's going on here? They probably even haven't tasted the drink, you know? And when it comes to like radio and DJing and stuff, I don't know what it is, but you're nearly giving people a right to be able to speak to you like that. So at the start, I really struggled with it. I was like, whoa, like, surely you just go back and put it in the group and be like, oh, that Marty fella, I hate him. Like, you don't come up to him and say it to him, you know what I mean? So absolutely was that, 100%. COVID as well, that hit, that was massive, but everyone was, you know, everyone took a blow when it came to that. So yeah.
What advice would you give to 17-year-old Marty?
17-year-old Marty. Oh my God. Oh, I wish I grew up not worried as much as I was really worried about what people thought about me. And I think it's really hard to kind of not get stuck into that, especially nowadays. I don't know how you guys do it, lads. How old are you guys?
I'm 17.
17 and 18. You couldn't pay me any amount of money in the world to go back to being your age. I feel like you guys have it really hard. I feel like you guys can open up TikTok, open up Instagram, and there's someone there flaunting a life that probably doesn't even exist. And you guys see that, you know what I mean? Like back when I was that age, we didn't have that problem at all. And I still would worry about what people thought, you know? I'd still worry about like, oh, was that radio show good enough? Or like, oh, that DJ set, I don't think they liked it, and I'd go into panic mode. If I took 17-year-old, 18-year-old Marty and put him into the social media age now, he would have collapsed. Like, I wouldn't be doing this now, no way. So when I see people your age doing stuff like this, I think you guys are actually the inspiration, and you guys are the ones that people should be looking at, because I'm in my 30s now. You know, I've gone through a lot and experienced a different type of social media coming through. It's a different ball game now. It really, really is. So I go back and tell 17-year-old Marty he's worrying about nothing, and it's going to be okay, for sure.
Do you think a lot of people compare themselves to each other now with social media?
Big time. I do it. I still do it. And I'm in my 30s. I don't do it as much as I used to. But, you know, like I could look at someone like, you know, I could take a DJ that's maybe in his late 20s. Be like, oh, he's a couple of years younger than me, you know, and he's like doing all this. But then I'm like, would I want to be doing that? And I was like, well, no, I wouldn't. But he's making it look fun, so I think I want to do it, you know? And it's just that quick instant kind of like seeing someone do something. But then I'm like, he's probably going home and who knows what he's dealing with. Like, you know, we get this little snippet of what's happening in his life and it looks really cool and fun, but we don't know that that's the case for sure. You know,
everyone's timing is different, and people only post their best clips on social media.
Yeah,
nobody posts the worst clips or the failures or the setbacks.
It's all just a highlight reel, isn't it? Same with footballers. They're the prime example. Like they'll show you all the goals they score, but they won't show you the ones they miss. You know,
that's such a good point. Yeah, you don't see like you don't see Mason Mount's like mess ups, do you? That'd be a funny video. That'd be a long video too,
especially because how big he is. Like, people only watch him when he's playing at Old Trafford, but they're not watching him on Carrington training ground.
No, you're dead right, yeah. And then, like the highlight clips. I'm a basketball man, so when I think about that kind of thing in highlight reels, it's always the dunks and the blocks, and it's never really anything else, you know?
What do you think separates those who win from those who don't?
Those who win, I guess it probably boils down to what to win is for them, which is very deep, and I'm not a very deep person, but I've kind of harped on about this a lot. Like I've really won in the last year, and it's nothing to do with my career.
I think it's a mindset.
I think if you can be happy with what you have, regardless of what that is,
contentment, kind of.
you've won.
Yeah.
And I've struggled a lot over being happy with what I have. Consistently chasing more, consistently chasing a bigger income, a bigger gig, you know. And it's only in the last year that I have started to go, I'm actually really happy with what I have. And I finally I finally feel like I'm starting to win now. And that's probably not the answer that people want to hear. People want to hear probably like, oh, go out there, make 6 figures and get that car you love and, you know, play festivals and all that. But in the last year, I feel like I've really won. You know, like me and my other half were settled in our home, and we built a puppy, we fostered for a charity, and we just live in a really small village and out in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, I just worry less about what people think, you know. So still at moments, like we're all only human, you know. But I've really started to feel like in the last year I'm winning, and it's nothing to do with my career, which I never thought I'd get to. I'm still not there yet, but we're working on that, you know.
It's amazing, eh?
Yeah, it's cool. It's a funny one because I think the people, especially in our line of work, what we're all doing here, you do struggle to be happy with what you have, don't you? Especially when you see someone else.
Yeah, you're always chasing more.
Always chasing more. And when do you stop chasing and just go, hang on a minute, like, this is pretty cool what I'm doing right now. You know, I get to make a living doing something that I love. Yes, someone's making a better living doing what I love, but there's also someone making maybe not as much of a living doing what I love too.
Yeah.
And look what I have, you know. And in the last year, I'm starting to really kind of go, okay, you know, I'm happy with this, with what I have, and not chasing as much.
What's the best piece of advice you ever received?
The best piece of advice I ever received was to be a prick, an annoying prick. I think that because there's so many people now that have access to like the internet, and you know, you can become a bedroom DJ, a bedroom producer, bedroom radio host. I feel like that sometimes when you think you're being annoying with someone, you're actually not. They're just getting contacted by so many people that you're just nearly reminding them that you exist. You know, to you, you're like, oh, I appreciate like you guys, like when you guys were asking me to be on, like I was honored. I was like, this is incredible. These guys actually want to speak to me on their podcast. And when I kept messing up with it, I was like, these are gonna hate me. They're gonna like, this guy is just so flaky. But you kept on asking, you kept on, let's schedule this in, let's go. And I was like, that's such a nice quality to have. It's such a good trait to have, because you weren't annoying. You're just reminding, you know. And that's one thing that when I was told that. Also, another one. This is funny because I'm literally just a DJ in Ireland, but someone once told me to be Beyonce. And what he meant by that is that go to Beyonce's Instagram page, go to her TikTok page, and look in the comments and see if she replies to anybody. And she doesn't, no matter what it is. Now, obviously, if someone leaves a nice comment, I'll try to reply to them. But when it comes to the negativity, if people can leave hate on Beyonce's videos, they're going to leave hate on yours.
Yeah.
But if you be Beyonce and just don't engage with it. And I know it sounds really, really funny, but ever since he said that to me, now I have slipped up once or twice since then, but it always comes back to it. It's like, just be Beyonce. She's not going to reply to it, so why should you? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think sometimes if you reply to it, you're giving them what they want, really, aren't you? Yeah.
I think if you reply to it as well, you're sort of stooping down to their level and you're filling your world then with negativity.
Yeah.
You should really focus on, say there's 50 comments, there's probably 25 good ones, 25 bad.
Yeah.
Why not focus on the 25 good ones?
Focus on the good ones. But I feel like that in all aspects of life, as humans, we do tend to do that. You know, like if you go for a 60-minute walk and you know you trip up on something and you focus on that over the 60 minutes rather than like the beautiful scenery you had for like the 59 minutes or the beautiful chats you're having with the person you're with, you know, or the coffee you had. It's funny how we were programmed to like
focus on the
negativity. Yeah. I think if you're able to kind of change your mindset into focusing on the positivity, you'd be doing a lot better. But then again, if it was that easy and we were all doing it, we wouldn't be having this chat, would we? Like,
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. What advice would you give to the younger generation?
Younger generation is it's funny because I make a living off social media, but if you can pull back from social media, please do. Like limit your time on it as much as you can. I still haven't figured out what I want to do in life as far as like what I want to be doing in my 60s and 70s and what I'm going to retire at. So how you could have it figured out as a teenager, I have absolutely no idea. And if you even have an idea of what you want to be doing, like limit your social media use and just keep your eyes on the kind of broad kind of thing of what you actually do want to end up doing. I feel like social media, as much as I love it for the opportunities it's given me, I do think it can be just so bad for people. I really, really do. And it's addictive. It's so addictive. And it's so hard to not kind of resort to it when you're bored and unlock your phone and check it and stuff. But the amount of times I've opened my phone and gone for a scroll on social media and learned nothing. Or I felt great after it, And my other half, she loves TikTok scroll at night, and her For You page is class. I'm like, how on earth did you get such a good algorithm? Like, it's so annoying. I'm getting all this like bad stuff and like stuff that I don't like, and she's getting all these funny dog videos and cool cooking videos and funny stuff, and I'm like, why am I getting that? That would be the advice I'd give to a young person for sure. I've been volunteering with Childline for 2 years, and one of the biggest issues that we have with people phoning up is social media. So if I was to advise a young person, is if you're able to lock in and limit your use of social media, I just think that that's the best thing you can do, 100%.
It's amazing for the volunteering as well.
People say that, and it's like, oh, the time for it and stuff. It's 4 hours a week. It's it's just, I work evenings and nights. It's to me 4 hours during the day where I could be procrastinating, probably browsing TikTok instead. Like, it's nice, and there's such a good family in there. The stuff that they do is absolutely incredible, and I've made some real good friends from it, too. But like I said, it's for people who are 18 and under, and the majority of the issues that we have coming in circle back to social media. So if you're a young person, you're listening right now, it's so much easier to say it than it is to actually do it. But I just think you're doing yourself a world of good if you can limit your use on it, for sure.
And tell us a bit about Grenade. How did that?
Grenade. They still have me. They still employ me somehow. So funny enough, earlier on I mentioned I was a vegetarian, and it did actually get me a job in Grenade at the time, because they were like, oh, well, you need your protein from supplements, we do that, you're a vegetarian, let's work together. And then it went to a point where their products weren't all vegetarian friendly, and after a night out one night, I caved and had a chicken fillet roll. It was so good. It was an accident. Like, do you know when you go and you get a chicken fillet roll, who puts the chicken on the bottom? It's always on the top, right?
Mm.
Yeah, they put the butter, the sauce, and it's the lettuce and the cheese, and the chicken goes on top.
Yeah. Sometimes. Depends on the deli.
Is it sometimes?
Yeah, it depends on the deli.
Okay,
some delis do it differently.
Did they? Because this is what happened to me. So I just went in after a night out and asked for just a cheese roll. But he obviously, at that point, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, people after having a night out, they're probably just churning out the chicken fillet rolls.
Yeah.
So he probably thought I asked for a cheese chicken fillet roll, but he put the chicken on the bottom. And then I bit into it at the end of the night, and I was like, oh, that's so good. I looked at it and I was like, oh no. But I finished it, and I hadn't gone back. Then I didn't go back to being a vegetarian from that night. But I've always blamed the guy working in the deli, because I've always said, who puts the chicken on the bottom? And then you're telling me it's actually a thing some places. Yeah,
some places.
No way. Oh, I've always thought it was at the top. When I was going to school,
when some people order, like, they'd say, oh, I'll get a chicken fillet roll off you, whatever, and then they'd, right, what chicken do you want? And then they'd look around and what do you want on the roll. But you know what I mean?
So they put the chicken on, and then you put your top. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because people always say, like, chicken fillet roll.
So it just depends on the day.
Yeah, it just depends on the day.
Yeah, this guy, he doesn't know it, but there was a vegetarian in his shop that day, and they're not a vegetarian anymore because of the way he made his chicken fillet roll. Yeah.
Probably walked down in favour.
Oh, big time, yeah, with Grenade, because then I could still eat their products and stuff. So I'm with them now. Has to be 7 or 8 years.
And you're like a brand ambassador.
Brand ambassador, so
that's deadly.
Yeah, it's fun. A really cool company to work with. They're actually owned by the Cadbury's Group, Mondelez. So I know you said you're from Coolock. You from Coolock as well?
Yeah, Donecarney.
Yeah, I was out there only recently.
Nanny actually used to walk in Cadbury's.
Oh man, like it's heaven out there. Yeah. It's just like little bits of chocolate just everywhere.
She always used to bring home big bags.
Yeah, but that's what they were showing me. And when you go into Cadbury's, they've got like a staff shop. Yeah. And it's like when they're making the chocolate bars, like the ends of all the bars go into those bags. And they sell like those 10-kilo bags that you were getting brought home for like €1 or something. Yeah, so you just walk out. So one of the girls that worked there had said to me, she was like, I'll go back in because she'd be staff to go in there. And I was like waiting around for her, but she obviously forgot she told me and she went home. And I was like, oh no, I was looking forward to going in for like a tenner into that shop and leaving with like sacks full of the ends of all the chocolate bars. Yeah. That's mad though that you got them. Yeah. You say your nana worked in it?
Yeah. She used to walk in there, yeah.
Yeah. You can smell the chocolate.
Even the jellies and all, they do jellies and all in there.
I didn't know that until I worked there a few weeks ago. I didn't realise that they did, it's not Sour Patch Kids, is it? No.
No, Nature, do you know the jelly snakes?
Yes, it's not Nature Valley, it's the...
It's like a wood they were on my nest thing, no? No, obviously not.
No. See, I have a business degree and you never know it because I haven't a clue.
Yeah.
That's my degree, is business, French and Spanish. And I've never needed to present it. Well, I actually...
Do you think it worked with the DJing though? For working for yourself and sort of...
Big time, yeah. Like, I was actually... I ended up in college on a basketball scholarship, but I was doing the degree then, obviously, as well. But because... No disrespect to DIT at the time, I'm sure it's changed since then. The degree didn't... It wasn't really... It was challenging for sure, but I was getting led away with stuff that I shouldn't have. Like, when I came to secondary school, I was locked in. When I came to college, I was a little bit like, I love music, I love radio, I love basketball. So I wasn't the best student. Yeah. I got a great leaving cert and I got an alright degree.
You just had your priorities though. Different priorities at
a different age. Yeah, they change. You know, at the time when I was 16, 17, I was like, right, let's go get a great leaving cert. Then when I got to college, I was like, let's go back a radio show. You know? And like, what's that got to do with business, French and Spanish? Probably nothing. But I got to go away for a year and stuff, which was cool. My experiences in college for sure, I'm glad I have, but if I could go back, I'd probably study something different, definitely. Yeah.
And when's your next gig for the DJ?
Next gig? Jesus, the end of this month, we're back on the road. Carrick and Shannon, Tuam, Galway. I have to open my calendar. Jesus. I'm so lucky when it comes to the gigs that like I'm just consistently on the road. Yeah.
That's it.
I'm actually tomorrow. I'm working out with the Student Enterprise Awards. Fourth year students, they enter like business projects in. Have you guys heard of it? No. It's they can come up with business ideas and then they pitch them to like a panel, and then they'll pick winners and stuff. And at the end of the overall finals, they win funding.
To start the business.
To start the business. Really, really cool idea. So I'm actually DJing at that. I'm in Cavan the week after, Carrick and Shannon, and then we're in Wexford and Galway all that week as well. So we actually are gig free next week because we go back on the road again the week after. Yeah.
Me and Glenn will have to get ourselves.
You guys are welcome to come to whatever you want. You won't pay a cent for anything. We'll look after you, so whatever you guys want, for sure.
I'd love to shadow you as well.
We'll get you to like a picnic or something. We'll get you something big. I think that would be fun, for sure.
That'd be deadly.
Yeah.
And even, I might be up there then and we can...
Look, do you know what? I'll tell you the God's honest truth. I came out of the studio one night during lockdown, and there's a group of 15, 16-year-olds hanging around the road as I came out. And I walked out, and they all started shouting, Marty, we see you on TikTok. Marty. And some lad turns to me and he was like, I'm big on TikTok as well. And I was like, are you? Class. And he was like, yeah. He's like, I'm going to be a DJ one day. And I was like, you know what? I hope you are. And I hope one day I'm opening up for you. It's Ben Williams.
No way.
And I was. I opened up for them in Mallorca last summer on a couple of nights.
That's
so
it.
I left the spin studio and they were all, there was a group of 6 or 7 of them. They were all roaring at me.
Yeah.
Because they'd seen me on TikTok. And Ben said to me, he was like, I'm big on TikTok as well, I'm going to be a DJ. And I said to him, I was like, when people say that to me, I would love to know one day that I'm on the same lineup as them. And sure, look at them, a new era, him, Carl now. Yeah.
That's sick. A lot of people would call that cocky. This is just a shower thought of mine. And someone said to me the other day about something I said. They were like, is that not a bit cocky, or do you not think that's cocky? And I was thinking, like, it's not really cocky, it's just believing in yourself to a point of delusion. And if you don't believe, like, say we said we were going to be the biggest podcast in the world, which we do believe we will be.
Why wouldn't you be?
If we don't believe that, and if we don't say that, how is it ever going to happen? Because if we don't believe it, no one else is going to believe it and push us.
No,
to that,
you're dead right, you know. But you have no reason not to believe it.
Exactly.
You know, like anyone who goes out there to pursue any career, like if you don't think you're going to get to a certain level, whether it's a company you're working with, you know, whether you're in a cafe or a restaurant or you're a DJ, right? It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you don't believe that you can excel in that company or excel in your career, well, then who else is going to believe in you? Know, like no one's going to just hand it to you either.
Exactly.
You know. And I believe you guys are going to have the biggest podcast in the world.
Thank you.
It probably means something coming from me, but the fact that you guys are saying that, and that's the reason why I go, you guys are already 70 episodes in nearly at the age of 18 and 17. You know, I think I saw a stat there. Kate Hewitt, I think her name is. A reel popped up on my feed. I think when you hit 100 podcast episodes, it makes you like top 10% in the world or something. There's a stat behind that, and you guys are 30 weeks away from that. And you won't even be 20 years of age when that happens. You'll be a lot younger. So just think about that. That's where you guys are heading.
I think I always say this to Glenn, no matter what anyone pursues or anyone does, when they compare themselves, so say it's them when they start to someone at the pinnacle, all they really have over you is time. Like,
that's it.
If I start DJing now and I compare myself to Dave Gay, how long is he doing? 20,
exactly.
30 years.
And David Guetta is actually, you picking his name is a really good one because he technically would have been a late bloomer. And I hate the idea of, you know, there's obviously these like success stories from people who are a lot younger and they just shoot up the ladder, and a lot of people think, oh well, I'm older than them, or I didn't do it as quick, so therefore I'm never going to get there, which is so unbelievably untrue. David Guetta, like, I got a feeling with the Black Eyed Peas was the one that really commercially put him on the map. What was that, like 20 something years ago? He's in his mid to late 50s now. You know what I mean? So that happened to him when he was in his mid 30s. So when you think about it, if he worked so hard, like he was doing underground clubs in Paris, you know, he was dishing out his underground music, and he just did not give up. You know, he kept on going, and his career really, really took off in his 30s and peaked, and has continued to peak from his 40s, you know. And I think that stories like that are the ones that I wish people kind of heard more of, because they're the real ones. They're the story. That's the majority, you know.
I always bring up Colonel Flanders, I think, KFC.
Oh,
he started till he was 65, and now look at KFC.
Is that when he started the business?
65 he started KFC.
No way.
And people always say, oh, it's too late. It's never too late.
Oh no, it's never too late to pursue something you want to. I think it goes back to social media. When you see people your age maybe getting there quicker and getting there younger, again, you think they've gotten there quicker because you're watching, you know, what they're doing, because they're only pointing out the good stuff. It can make you want to quit a little bit, you know. But
comparisons to Tifa Joy.
Yeah, I'm in my 30s and I'm still going to keep going. I've seen people start only a couple of years ago and they're at a really what you'd consider a successful point. But if I looked at them and stopped because they've gotten there quicker than me and they're younger, you're like you can't do that either. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And there could be different doors of opportunities as well. So.
Nailed it. That's it. And I think it comes back then to just kind of being happy with what you have at the time and going, right, we have these goals, this is what we want to reach, but I'm actually doing pretty good now, so I'm not going to be too hard on myself, because if I'm hard on myself right now, it put me in a place where I give up. But, you know, like right now where I'm at, I've got radio shows, I've got a beautiful home, a great partner, and if I kept on thinking, yeah, but you haven't played Ushuaia yet in Ibiza, it's like, oh, well, you're going to go play Old Beach in Ibiza. Like, there's someone else dying to do that, you know? Kind of like,
I'm dying to do that.
Or Old Beach. You know, come over on the day I'm playing in July.
I'd love that.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. It's like, and chances are, you know, I'll be on that lineup and they'll probably put me on at an early time, but then I'll go to New York that night and I'll play in a nightclub there. But to me, I played in BCM once, but it's not BCM, it's a smaller club. So I've always before thought, oh, I'd love to play BCM more. But like, no, hang on a minute, like you're still in a nightclub paying your bills, doing what you love, you know?
Yeah, abroad as well. I think that's
I think the abroad thing is glamorized a bit too much.
Do you think so?
Yeah, like there's sometimes where I'd choose a gig in Ireland over a gig abroad.
Why do you think that is?
It's just like, So say, for example, the July 5th, O Beach, and then I'm in Santa Ponsa that night. So because I'm in Mayo the night before, I have to actually fly to Ibiza from Belfast because the flight's too late in Dublin to get me to Ibiza in time for the O Beach gig. Then as soon as that gig's finished, I'm straight to the airport to get on a plane to go to Majorca, which is only a short flight, and then I'll be straight to the club. Now, if someone tells me that's better than driving 60 minutes to Nice to get paid probably the same amount of money to then end up in my own bed that night, waking up to my puppy and my other half to go for a walk and get a coffee, I think I know which one is definitely more convenient. Yeah. So sometimes, again, now I'll go and when that day comes around and like, this is what we're doing today, and there'll be people looking at it going, class, I beat that Majorca, and it's like, that doesn't matter where that venue is or where that bar is or club is. To me, it's in Ibiza because I'm there, but I'm not actually experiencing Ibiza because we're off to the next one, you know. So that's why sometimes like gig offers will come in abroad and you have to like weigh them up. Like, are they worth, you know, like are they financially, did it make sense? And then what if we've been a gig in Ireland that could actually be better for us as well, you know? I think the abroad thing is glamorized a lot, but a lot of the time you're put up in not the nicest accommodation, which doesn't matter. I'm just happy with a pillow. But then you get some people showing you their fancy room and stuff, and people kind of think that kind of comes with every gig abroad. Like, it really doesn't. Like there's a couple of gigs I did in Kavos in Greece, and the places I was staying in, lads, like, I was just happy to have a bed at the end of the day. But oh my god, what I would have done to been playing in Dublin and have my own bed that night. You know what I mean? Yeah.
What would you say to the people that say that DJ is saturated now and too many people are doing it and blah blah?
Oh no, like to this, yeah, I hear this a lot. But like, again, too many people are doing it because we can see them doing it on social media. People always wanted to be DJs. People always wanted to be radio hosts and TV hosts and anything that's kind of creative and artistic based. But because it's pushed in front of us now with social media, you nearly feel like you can't do it because you're like, oh, there's so many out there. But like, I mean, that's like every job. Can you imagine, like, how many people go to Trinity and study law? How many people go to, like, you know, Ballyfermot and study radio? Like, every year, these courses are full. The CAO applicants are through the roof for all these courses. They're not being told the market's saturated. You know?
That's actually a great point. That just popped in my head there when you said that. A lot of people actually look like they're doing it, but not many people are actually doing it.
No, it's so easy. Perception is important to a point. Yes. But I see some people online, and I know they've got full-time jobs, but you don't know that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's okay though, because you have to pay your bills. There's nothing wrong with that. But the person watching their social media thinks, Jesus, they're smashing it out, DJing 7 nights a week and stuff. I could never get there. But they're actually probably going off and grinding a 9-to-5 job to pay for their bills, and then
probably not sleeping. Yeah.
I'm probably not sleeping. You know what I mean?
I always say that as well. Ronaldo did not play football because a lot of people are playing football.
No, can you imagine?
Yeah,
you never get to see people like it.
The amount of footballers in the world, in the Premier League alone.
Yeah, that's it. And like, I remember seeing that thing about Scott Carson when he played one game for Manchester City. He came on in the League Cup quarterfinals, and that saved the penalty. They beat Newcastle, I think 4-3 it was. But he was the third goalkeeper for Man City, and he was on like something stupid, like 500 grand a year, and he played one game. And I was like, do you think Scott Carson woke up one day and was like, oh, there's too many goalkeepers out there? He probably landed the best goalkeeping job in the world because he didn't actually have to be one. Yeah, third. I was thinking, Jesus, third goalkeeper on a team. If there were more of those positions going, I nearly swapped career, like, you know. But again, I think when you tie the DJing world and radio world and social media world, and you compare it to real jobs they're real jobs because that's what we're told. They're real jobs. I do think DJing, social media, they're all real jobs. Like, if someone ever was to tell me when you get a real job, I just laugh at them.
If you can pay your bills,
it's a real job. But you'd never say that about other careers. Like, you never go, my dad definitely, like, he went into Tara Street and any fire station was working in, and it was surrounded by firefighters. Like, it's not, yeah, absolutely, it was saturated, and it needed to be, because like, if the fire goes anywhere, you want as many people there to fix it as possible. There's always going to be room for everybody, no matter what, especially if you're willing to put the work in.
That's a great point.
Yeah, every other job is saturated, but nobody would ever think that. You fill in your CAO, you get the exam results that you hope you want to get, and you go to college to study what you hope that you want to study to use. And at no point is the person going to accounting or medicine thinking there's too many doctors out there, there's too many accountants. They're not thinking like that. But because we're in an industry that's heavily pushed online, we convince ourselves. Like, someone asked me on this a few weeks ago, they were like, I want to start a podcast, but the market's saturated. And I'm like, but what if the market of people that listen to podcasts like your one, and your one does really well? Then other people are going to start thinking, oh, well, now it's extra saturated because they like their podcasts, but you're never going to know unless you actually do it. No other job do you do that, which is mad when you think about it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, even electricians, like everybody's like, there's too many electricians, but
no, there's not. How is there too many electricians? They're all still getting work. People go out and they do their apprenticeships and they go on to do more. And then with the way housing and stuff is in Ireland, like construction work is going to be through the roof in the next 5 to 10 years. There's never going to be too many builders either. But yeah, in our world, we somehow convince ourselves like, oh, everyone's doing it, I can't do it. And it's like, that's not true, because everyone has something different to offer. And, and you guys offer what you guys offer in your podcast that no one else is offering, and that's why people listen to you guys. If you guys started thinking, oh, this podcast market saturated, you'll never have started this. You've episode 70 coming up, which is incredible. If you had that mindset, sure, what would you be doing then,
Deadly. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
It's been a pleasure, I think.
Guys, I can't thank you enough for having me. That was great. And look, can we just look at these on camera real quickly? Yeah. Get this on social media. Look at these. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Cakes.
Coco's Cakes. Yeah. They look delish. I'm going to eat the icing off all of them now.
And where can people find you on social media, Marty?
Just Marty Guilfoyle on any platform. Yeah. TikTok, Instagram. I'm there in all of them. Reluctantly at the moment, but I'm there.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a million, guys. I appreciate it.
Episode 70 wrapped up.
Episode 69.
Oh, 60.
Yeah, sorry, I kept saying nearly 70, so it's probably in your head.